What's up guys, Josh Blunt here and welcome to my channel where I break down everything you need to know about exercise and nutrition for beginners and much more. If you find yourself sleeping until the last possible second or even hitting that snooze button over and over and over until you finally drag yourself out of bed, then you might be wondering, why am I always tired? Maybe you find yourself exhausted in the middle of the day with zero energy to get anything else done. Feeling tired or fatigued is actually very common. In fact, 1/3 of children, adults, and elderly people find themselves exhausted or fatigued throughout the day. Now, fatigue can come from many very common chronic diseases, of course, but for the majority of people, it's only going to come down to their individual lifestyle choices, which we can adjust. That's why in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the most common factors that create this lack of energy, how you can change it so you too can get all of that energy back. Let's dive in. Now, some of these things might seem like common sense, but trust me, us individuals, we need to be reminded of these things, even if it's common sense, until we can create a habit out of it. And the first thing that I want to talk about is living a sedentary lifestyle. Now, again, some of this might seem like common sense, but you'd be surprised. Many people feel that they just don't have enough energy to exercise. Yet, living that sedentary lifestyle actually takes away some of that could-be energy away from you, making it even less likely that you're going to want to exercise. It's like an endless loop of destruction. You see, when you exercise or live an active lifestyle, your body is circulating this oxygen through the blood. That oxygen is actually what breaks down the molecules to give you your energy. The more that you exercise, the more efficient your body is at circulating that oxygen. In that case, you have more oxygen to break down those molecules, therefore you have more energy throughout the rest of the day. Not only does exercise make it more efficient for your body to circulate this oxygen, but it also makes it more efficient at absorbing the oxygen as well when you breathe, giving your body more oxygen to use. So when you live a sedentary lifestyle and you're not that active, the way that your body uses and circulates this oxygen isn't going to be as effective or efficient, meaning your body isn't going to break down these molecules well enough to give you the energy that you need throughout the day. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have stored energy somewhere. That's what body fat is. It's stored energy. It only means that your body isn't going to effectively break this body fat down so it can be used as energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to exercise 7 days a week, 3 hours a day to change this. It only means that being a little bit more active, getting up, doing something a little bit more active than you're doing right now might make the difference in boosting your energy levels. So trust me when I say it's worth giving it a shot. Get up, be a little bit more active. You might feel exhausted at first, but I promise you, your body will start to use oxygen more efficiently and it will boost your energy levels. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is eliminating food sensitivities. Yes, food does give you energy. That's what it's supposed to do. But there are many studies that actually suggest that foods that you're more sensitive to or have allergies to, whether it's dairy or gluten, might actually cause fatigue. Over the years, we've actually become more sensitive to certain foods, and that's where elimination diets come into play. The carnivore diet is a great example of this. Not many people are going to be allergic to meat, so by eliminating all other food groups for a period of time, and then by slowly adding in 1 or 2 foods here and there to see how your body responds to them. So you would eliminate dairy for a few weeks, and then you would slowly add in a little bit of dairy and see how your body responds to it. If it responds well, then perfect. If your body doesn't respond well, then what you can do is eliminate dairy or cut it back, and then you're going to want to try it with other food groups and so on. When we eat foods that we're more sensitive to, it's going to create inflammation in the body and acid reflux, all of this in which is going to make for a poor night's sleep. All right, so the next tip that I want to talk about could be very sensitive, but it still could be a huge factor in a lack of sleep and fatigue, and that's going to be depression, anxiety, and high stress, which is very easy and very common in today's age, especially with the pandemic and everything else going on. Now, I'm not going to dive real deep into this one because I'm in no position to give you medical advice, but this channel is about health, not only your physical health, but also your mental health when it relates to it. Anybody suffering from depression or anxiety or high stress have their own reasons, and every case should be taken seriously. But in many cases, depression can be one of the biggest cons in human history. I'm not saying that it's not serious. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that many people feel sad, hopeless, worthless, like their life does not measure up and that their life does not hold much value. This is a very big cause of depression, and it's important to understand that these thoughts are not valid thoughts. They're not truths, right? They're just thoughts that we tell ourselves, and then we get caught up in this endless loop. Because in reality, the truth is that we are all worth every bit of life. My life, your life, our lives are just as valuable as any other life. And you can do anything that you set your mind to. Just just like anybody else around you. So those thoughts of low self-worth are not actually valid thoughts. These are not realities. They're not truths. They're just thoughts that we tell ourselves, yet sometimes are the root of depression in many cases. Now I'm going to leave it right there and just suggest one great book that has changed many lives, and that is Feeling Good by David D. Burns, or his newest book, Feeling Great. I will leave the link to both books down below, and no way I'm not sponsored or affiliated with any of that, but they are very powerful books. So if any of you actually suffer from depression, anxiety, high stress, I highly recommend reading those books and learning from an actual professional in that space. All I can say is that depression, anxiety, high stress can keep us from getting a good night's sleep, so it's definitely worth looking into. Let's move on. Just a side note, if you guys are getting any value out of this video, please hit the like button so YouTube will share that value with other people. If you're feeling generous, please subscribe to the channel. And if you had read Feeling Good or Feeling Great by David D. Burns, please put your experiences in the comment section down below. Thanks for the support. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about that could create a lack of energy is not eating enough calories. You didn't see that one coming, did you? A calorie is a unit of energy that we get from food. Now your body is going to use these calories to think, to breathe, to keep your heart pumping, to move, and much, much more. There are too many fad diets out there that are offering quick fixes to weight loss. They're even limiting calories down to 1,000 calories per day, which is not enough calories to provide energy for all of your daily activities for the majority of people. When you're not eating enough calories, your metabolism is going to slow down because your body wants to use those calories for energy for your major organs, for survival. So this is going to leave you feeling exhausted by the middle of the day, and obviously you're not going to have any energy to exercise, which will also lead to a lack of energy. So if this is you and you find yourself not eating enough throughout the day, or maybe you're just snacking often, then maybe you need to prioritize your eating habits just a little bit to provide more food and calories for your body for the day. All right, so I want to talk about one more tip that could create a lack of energy, and then I also want to talk about a crutch that you might be using that if you change this, it might help you with all of this. All right, so the last tip that I want to talk about is not getting enough sleep. The obvious one. Now, many of us might actually lay down with the lights off for 8 to 9 hours a night, but how many of us are actually sleeping throughout those hours? When you are sleeping, your body is in a recovery process. It's recovering all of the damage that you created throughout the day, whether that's from work, exercise, or just a stressful day in general, etc., etc. It is also storing memories and regulating hormones for metabolism and energy levels. You are already exhausted by the end of the day, so if you're not resting and recovering in between those days, there's no possible way that you could have enough energy to make it through the next day. So try to create a sleep schedule if you can. It definitely does help. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every single night, even if you have to go to bed a couple of hours early to make up for those lost hours in the beginning of the night or the lost hours in the middle of the night. All right, to finish up, here's something that really helped me out a lot, and that is to not rely on energy drinks to get you through the day. It is too easy to grab a Red Bull, to get some coffee, to get some tea, whatever it is, to push you through the day when we're feeling exhausted. This is going to create a crutch, or like a cheat code to boost your energy levels. And the problem with this is that means you're never going to really address the actual issues. You're just going to cover them up with the Red Bull. You are relying on fake energy and not actually fixing anything that would help you in the long term. Now, I'm not saying that you should give up caffeine. That's not what I'm saying. I love me some iced tea. I drink it all the time. It definitely helps when I'm face down doing research all day for many hours. But what I'm saying is to not rely on it. You want to focus on these other obstacles that we talked about in this video so you can create good habits into your lifestyle to get the energy that you need to make it through the day. Address these other issues and make sure that you have natural energy and that you don't need a crutch to lean on. At that point, get your coffee, get your tea, get your Red Bull, whatever your vice is. It's not a bad thing, but when you rely on caffeine, you never focus on the root of your fatigue, the root of your lack of energy. And that is just going to create addictions and needs just so you can make it through a normal life. So remember, guys, never stop learning, never stop adjusting, and never stop growing. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. If you found any value out of this video, please give it a like so YouTube will share that value with other people. Subscribe to the channel if you're feeling generous. I do appreciate your support. If you have any questions at all, put it in the comment section, and I will see you guys on the next video.